All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Unit Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it's to talk about Tunisia versus England. And sorry, I've been trying to do a couple of things, which is the reason why I'm a little bit on here late, just to talk to you very, very briefly about the starting lineup for England. So England are starting with Kane and Sterling up top, Young on the left, Lingard, Henderson. They look like they're playing in the middle. Probably what you'll find is that Dele Alli is playing that kind of number 8 role next to Henderson, and Lingard will be the number 10. Trippier as a right wing back, Young as a left wing back, and then they've got a back 3 of Maguire, Stones, and Walker, with Pickford as England's number 1. Probably the best lineup available to them. So I imagine I can see England winning this reasonably comfortably. I'm going to go for 2-0 for the boys. So let's see what happens. By the way, you're probably thinking to yourself, hold up, where's Lee? Well, as somebody said earlier to me on Twitter, AFTV budget is a little bit higher. And Lee is actually doing a watch along with AFTV now. But I hope you're just going to stick with me, or at least you come back to me in between flicking between them and myself. But yeah, should be an interesting game. I can imagine that England will be doing everything possible to apply pressure to Tunisia. I see this going in a very similar style to the Nigerian match, as much as it annoys me to admit. But, you know, I think England, it was in their interest to accept Nigeria's challenge to play them just before the World Cup started, just to get an idea of the way African teams play. Oh, there's a chance. Oh, what a save. Fucking hell. Wow. How did you miss that, Lingard? Oh, shit. So there was an attack down the right-hand side of England. It was squared to Sterling, but Sterling wasn't able to get hold of it. And the ball kind of dropped for Lingard in just outside the 6-yard area. And the keeper made a brilliant fucking save. I mean, don't get me wrong, the keeper was kind of going the other way. And Lingard tried to hit it towards his left. But he saved it with his feet. Great save. Corner comes in. Oh, fucking damn. Tunisia's defense is more shaky than Nigeria's. That should have been relatively simple. Header came in, kind of headed towards the ground. Keeper had to make another pretty good save considering. I feel, oh man, at least 3 England players are offside. The heck is going on there? Okay, the linesman did flag. It was late. I'm watching the game on mute, people. So if the commentators are saying some shit is offside, I won't know. I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys have been asking me what the take is on the whole Ozil controversy. I know I have friends on the show who are on both sides of the argument. My whole thing on Mesut Ozil is this. For me, oh, wait, hold up. What the fuck happened there, bruv? I don't even know how to explain that. Sterling kind of gave the ball to Lingard. He looked a little bit offside, to be fair. Lingard squares the ball to Sterling, and I don't know what the fuck happened to Sterling. The ball came straight to him. He had an open goal, mind you. All right, 2 players are kind of tracking back. Keeper looks like he's down for an injury, but what the fuck happened there? I mean, seriously. Okay. I don't know what happened to the goalkeeper either. They just did a replay. Unless the goalkeeper is stretched, overly stretched for something and pulled something. But yeah, while there's a little stop in place, so I can tell you what my actual thoughts are about Mesut Ozil. Sorry, I just done one more replay. Oh, okay, he's pulled something. He's waving to the bench straight away. I think he's pulled something. He's now up to his feet, up on his feet. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, my thoughts on Mesut Ozil is this. For me, like, this is the best way I can explain it, right? I love Busta Rhymes. Love Busta Rhymes. One of the most energetic, charismatic rappers there is out there, and always has been for about 25 years, right? Now, for me, I love him so much that I generally support anything he's in. I watched a film called Halloween Resurrection. Some of you older heads will know what the fuck that is. Some of you younger heads will think that's some sort of B movie that you didn't think actually exists. And it technically is one of those B movies that shouldn't exist, but it does. And I love Busta Rhymes, but he's the worst part of that fucking film. The film generally is an abomination, but he's the worst part of that film. I've come to find out, particularly on the internet, that when you decide to have the nerve of critiquing Mesut Ozil, it's a terrible thing. It's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. I'm not going to speak for anyone who's had any sort of discussion on Twitter yesterday. I know some shit went happen. To be honest, I stayed out of that. But I'm going to speak for myself. What I noticed is that, for example, 2 weeks ago, I did a chopping block with Mesut Ozil. Mind you, I say I did a chopping block. My actual words were, maybe Arsenal should consider selling Mesut Ozil. And anyone who hasn't seen that video and has just been honest, even if they disagree, there's certain people that would have watched that and saw it and disagreed, but they could understand where I was coming from. I'm not talking to you guys because I know that you guys are reasonable. You would hear the points I had to say, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, not a problem. But then you have some people that will be like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know anything about football. Oh, this just shows me that you know nothing about football. All because it's the Messiah, Mesut Ozil. And the reason I used that Busta Rhymes example was against Germany, certain people had an issue with the way Mesut Ozil played. Troops being one of them. You guys all know who Troops is, right? Some of you love him, some of you hate him. I personally don't think he said anything that bad. I watched the Arsenal Fan TV episode, didn't think it was that bad. To be honest, I watched the game. I didn't disagree. I didn't necessarily think Mesut Ozil was the worst on the pitch, but I can understand from an Arsenal Fan TV perspective. I've never been on the fucking channel. I have no great desire to be on the fucking channel. So to me, you saying, oh, well, you have an agenda, or you have an aim to be on. Have you ever seen me on the fucking channel? I'm running a rival Watchalong right now. so clearly I have no real affiliation with any of them guys. Lee's my boy. Aside from that, I've had a few people from the show, and those people are cool. Not a problem at all with any of them. But to me, the way I see it is I'm smart enough and old enough and ugly enough to have my own damn opinion on these things. Right? I don't think Troop said anything that bad. He talked about Mesut Ozil because Mesut Ozil is the player that he's most familiar with, given the fact that he plays for Arsenal. He felt he was shit. Expected more from him. But for some reason, I noticed there's all this criticism directed towards them and him that kind of reminded me of the criticism that I got for doing my chopping block for an expressing an opinion that no one is forcing you to listen to. No one. What? Because you're not supporting you should support your own. You should support your own. Sorry, it's Arsenal playing right now. You should support your own. You should support your own. Sorry. Are you the same guys or girls that were saying that when Wenger was still in charge? It is okay to have an opinion, even if that opinion doesn't agree with yours. Oh, big boy go. Brah. Brah. Well done. Well done. First time ever I'm cheering for fucking Harry Kane. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. You know, my first team, everyone knows this, is Nigeria. And I've told you guys that I'm supporting England as a second team too. I'm not going to look at that and think to myself, oh, well, fuck it. I'm happy for England, but fuck Harry Kane. It's the same sort of dumbass principle. I'm not looking at a Tottenham player. I'm looking at an England player. I'm not looking at Mesut Ozil thinking to myself, oh, well, if I dare criticize him in this, luckily I'm not reviewing Germany games. But you telling me that if I was reviewing Germany games and Mesut Ozil was playing shit, I can't say that Mesut Ozil's playing shit. Not me, Star. I'm too stubborn for that shit. I'm too stubborn for that shit. So I would, you see the way people give parental warnings? I'm going to give Ozil warnings every time I have anything bad to say about Mesut Ozil, simply because apparently there's a messiah around here. And you can't say anything bad without 18 people shitting on you. I have always said, for me, I don't care if you're Mesut Ozil, I don't care if you're Granit Xhaka. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of Granit Xhaka either. But if he plays well, and to be honest, against Switzerland, I thought he played all right. I actually think certain people are being a bit harsh about the way he played, the way he played for Switzerland yesterday. I thought he did all right. I thought Liechtensteiner did well. That being said, I'm not going to blindly support them for the sake of blindly supporting them. If I'm talking about the game and one of them played well or one of them played shit, regardless of the club that they play for, why the fuck am I not going to talk about it? Mind you, the same people criticizing are also the same people that allegedly say, oh, well, I don't give a shit what he does for his country. I care what he does for Arsenal. Exactly. So what's the problem? Anyway, that's my little fucking rant about that situation. It's unbelievable. Twitter is unbelievable when it comes to Mesut Ozil. It's like a cesspool of stuff. You got one geezer, for some reason, that has this constant habit of throwing stats at me to defend Mesut literally every single fucking day. It's getting to the point where I like the kid, but it's actually pissing me off now. It's just like, right, I don't need to see this shit all the time. Like I genuinely don't need, especially me. I hate stats more than anything when it comes to defend. If you have to defend your player with stats, you notice that people don't necessarily throw a lot of stats about Ronaldo or Messi until it comes to the end of the season and you're taking stock of their whole season. People don't do that shit a lot with Messi and Ronaldo because it's pretty obvious what the fuck they do. When you have to do that with a player every single day, you know there's problems. Anyway, it's my little fucking rant over and done with. Regardless of if you love Arsenal Fan TV, you hate Arsenal Fan TV, that ain't my debate here. My debate is people should be able to say whatever the fuck they want about a player, if that's their opinion. And that to me is my own channel agenda. I'll respect your opinion if you come correct and respect mine. Don't tell me, oh, you're dumb because, you have that opinion on Mesut Ozil. The mentality of that just is mind-boggling to me. You're not meant to agree with everything I say. Absolutely not. But you should respect another human being for having an opinion. Quite frankly, I think it'd be more weird if you did agree with every single thing I said. Anyway, sorry. That's my little fucking rant over and done with. Let's focus on this game a little bit. England look like they're playing well. They look perky. I will say this for England, though. They seem to start games very, very well. I noticed with Nigeria, they started first 20 minutes, they were all over us. And then it just seemed to peter out a lot. So I'm wondering if this game is going to be similar in that respect, where it just peters out a little bit and turns into a bit of a dull game. So far, so good, though. So far, so good. And I'm happy for Harry Kane to be on the pitch. Him, Sterling, and Lingard have been causing problems early on. From in between my little rant, I was paying attention. Oh, shit. It's baffling to me still that Carl Walker is playing as a centre-back. I mean, that's one of them weird Gareth Southgate things. Isn't the whole reason they bought him because he was a right-back? Man City, that is. Why wouldn't you just play him as Trippier, that undroppable? I know he's had a decent season with Trippier. I know a couple of spuds who like Trippier going forward. They feel like he's a really good crosser of the ball. But defensively, he's suspect as fuck. Now, when you play in the shape of wingbacks, I suppose there's less emphasis on defense than there would be if you're playing as part of a four. But I still think it's important. Anyway, let's dive into the chat room and see what you guys are saying. If you're saying anything at all. Imagine it must be real quiet between. I know there's at least three watch-alongs that are happening right now. So let's see. What are you guys saying? So I've got Ola. Big up, Ola. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Ola, I might as well ask you on air. Do you want to jump on the Nigeria watch-along? I need another Nigerian to kind of take the heat and take the misery with me, because I'll tell you what, if we lose that match as expected, I am not going to be in the mood to talk a lot. So I might need someone else to take up the slack. Anyway, how are you guys doing, man? I know a lot of you are starting to flood in after work. How's your day been? Been good? What up, Colin? I could see you in the chat room. Oliver, I see you. See Archie saying my stream was frozen at some point. My bad. I hope it's working all right now. Yeah, apparently, Archie, apparently Lino is going to be done sometime within the next 24 hours, according to the German publications. But they seem to be saying that a lot about a lot of players that we're being linked with. So it's kind of one of them ones where I kind of believe it when I see it, sort of thing. Ah, how nice. Fuck me and Lee Gunner. Not a problem. Tell you what, how about I block you? Then that way you won't need to fuck me or Lee Gunner. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Colin, to be honest with you, I feel good about the positions we're targeting. You know, from a point of view that it's refreshing that we seem to be looking at positions that we actually need strength in. You know, I'll hold my hands up. I don't want to be, you know, hypocritical or anything. I was a little bit sour initially on the whole, on the Liechtensteiner deal. I'll be real. I was really, really sour about it. And then I kind of thought about it and I thought, you know what? For a year, if Bellerin could learn off somebody, what the fuck is bad about that? I know he's 34. Realistically, he's probably not going to play a lot of games. But if it's someone who Bellerin can learn from and get better from, and we can get benefit of that, I think it's all the better for it. All the better for it. So I've really warmed to that deal more than I did when I made my initial reaction video on that deal. Leno, I'm still not 100% sure he's going to be good enough. But again, I like the fact that we're looking at that goalkeeper position and thinking, you know what? Fuck this average goalkeeper shit. We need to improve and we need to get better. And from that point of view, I'm happy. Ola, I think you misunderstood what I meant, man. I meant for the Nigeria game, not this game. So the Nigeria game, I think, is tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. But yeah, to fully answer your question, Colin, yeah, so far so good. So far so good. I do think we need a winner, and I just don't understand why Mahrez isn't more of a focus for us. To me, I think he would come if we really made a large play for him. But clearly, Sven and the boys don't seem to rate him. Oh, okay, well defended by Maguire. I'll tell you what, guys. What do you think of Harry Maguire? I know we were linked with him around April, and that just seems to have gone quiet. Would you go and get Harry Maguire? Let me know what you guys think. Jeff, I kind of remember you, but I can't think why. Is it, first of all, is it for a good reason or a bad reason? Let me know that. You think so, actually? I hope so. I hope so. If he, I'll take a Loris level because I think Loris is a good keeper. You know, Loris has the occasional clanger in him as well, but generally, I think Loris is a good keeper. So I hope you're right. Let's see, it's real quiet in the chat room. It's what happens when you do a watch along the same night as Arsenal fan TV. But fuck it, I'm sticking with it. God damn it. Yeah, I agree with you, Colin. You already know my feelings on Mustafi. You already know what I feel about Mustafi. Like you say, it can't be much worse. Mustafi is Nigeria centre-back level at best. I don't care what anyone tells you. Yeah. Yeah. And to be fair, like you say, De Gea did make a huge mistake at the World Cup, and when he initially came in, but De Gea was 19, he was super young when he was at um, when he came to United. if at 26 you're still making clangers, and if you talk to some German experts, they believe that his development has stalled completely, which is a bit of a worry. So I know what everybody's favorite answer is at the moment. Oh, don't worry, Emre will fix it. That seems to be literally the most favorite response from everyone. Don't worry, Emre will fix it. I hope so. I hope so. What up, Liam? You good? Yeah, I hear you actually, but also goalkeepers don't tend to get a lot of injuries. Unless your name is Ben Foster, who seems to get injured every 3 weeks for whatever reason. But generally, goalkeepers don't tend to get a lot of injuries. So that's not a huge surprise. I'm good, Liam. I'm good. I'm good. I just read your first message, Archie, about you not cheering Spurs. Listen, I'm happy if England win, man. I'm happy. Listen, if I could cheer a Harry Kane goal, and I'm in England aren't even my first team, then you guys definitely can. You should be happy for England no matter what. No matter what. Just for the summer, none of these guys are Spurs or United or Liverpool. And you know me, I love trolling Liverpool fans just because they're so easily triggered. But, you know, it's all England. And that's the way people should see it. Yeah, I talked about all the cross came in, nicely defended. I talked about what's his name? Czech last week. Not last week, yesterday. Big cross comes in again. Oh. See what I'm saying? Exactly how this game is playing out. It's exactly what I talked about. England start well every single game. But I just noticed the last 5 minutes, Tunisia is starting to come back into it. They're starting to have a bit of belief. England have that initial flurry and then it's like they just peter off. And they ain't going to be able to play the rest of the World Cup like that. Oh, we'll have a quick 20-minute good start where we play well, and then the rest of the game was shit. So they need to get their shit together. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Oliver. Yeah, I heard that Czech. I heard that Czech is a target for Napoli on loan. I think what you're more likely to get is that Czech will stay because it's the last year of his contract this up and coming season. So I think what you're more likely to see is, you know my feelings on it. I did a chopping block yesterday, guys. If you ain't seen it, go check it out. And I would sell them both. I'd sell Spina and Czech because I just think this is why you have a scouting unit. You should be able to get better. There's no point getting experience just because you guys are scared that if you let them both go, there's not enough experience. Fuck experience if the experience you have is not good enough. So, to me, I would let them both go. But I think what you will find is more likely is that Ospina and most probably Martinez will go. And Czech will stay for the last year of his contract. He'll get that kind of respect thing. And then what you'll find, I bet Czech probably goes to America, to be honest, and finishes his career there. Because I think the thing that means a lot to Czech and the whole reason that he wanted to stay in London in the first place is that he wants his children to speak English. So I think America's probably your most likely mover for that. And then I could see Czech being a good coach, man. I could see him being a good coach. I don't see him being a good coach for us. I see him going to Chelsea to be a coach. But yeah, I could see Czech doing that. I could see him doing his badges and going into that world. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're going that way, doesn't it, Archie? A backline who speak German, whatever. If it works for them, so be it. I know that with Wilshire seemingly set to leave, I see Welbeck going as well. I can see Welbeck going as well. Now, I can imagine a lot of the topic for debate next season will be the fact that, oh, Arsenal don't have any English players. It's the press like doing anything they can to trigger Arsenal fans. I look blazed out. No, I'm good, man. Nah, brother. No, I don't do them things there. I hear you, Archie. You want England to do well, you just can't do it. I hear you. How young is playing is beyond me. He's an awful player. My mate, Kenzo, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, cannot stand Ashley Young. And I mean, since the moment this motherfucker arrived at United, he cannot stand him. For that very reason, he just doesn't understand. I'm a United player. He doesn't understand how he's a Premier League player. It's such a shame for Ashley Young because when he was at Watford, I really liked him. I went as far as to say I felt like he could have been an Arsenal player. And then it's like Villa done something to him. I don't know what the fuck happened at Villa, but somewhere between being at Villa and being at United, he does have these moments of brilliance, though. As much as it annoys me to say, but he does. I mean, he'll always be the guy that ate bird shit on the pitch. And if you don't know what I mean, Google it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. He'll always be the guy where a bird shat in his mouth. But aside from that, yeah, I'm kind of with you on the Ashley Young thing. He does get a lot of play, but he's versatile, I guess. He can play a couple of different positions, can't he? So, could see why someone like a Gareth Southgate just would look at him and think, yeah. Me personally, if I was Gareth Southgate, I'd have fucked Young off and put in Segerson. I think Segerson is just a better, younger version of Young. Oh shit! Penalty! Oh shit! What the fuck happened there? Oh, come on, you guys, man! What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, who was that? Was that John freaking Stones or was that Walker? What's Pickford saves a lot of penalties though. Pickford does save a lot of penalties. It's not Petr Cech here, so you never know. Tunisia will be nervous as fuck, so you never know. Let's see. Pickford is doing his usual kind of let me intimidate the striker type thing. Oh no, maybe he's speaking to someone else. I'll tell you what, I'll be about that life of my goalkeeper. Be walking up to the striker like you ain't beating me, son. You understand? You ain't beating me. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I know he's a former Tottenham guy. This guy, you know. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. Ooh. Almost got to it. The penalty was a good penalty, to be fair. A very good penalty. A very, very good penalty. So I'm saying Tunisia, I said this in my Nigeria preview, so trust me, I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying this. I did say that, oh, that son's so unlucky. He got a fucking hand to it and everything. Oh, maybe it wasn't that good of a penalty. Fucking hell. Yeah, I did say this in my Nigeria preview that Egypt and Tunisia are probably the best African nation teams in this year's World Cup. So what you'll find is that this Tunisia team, in fact, someone else on my channel, I can't remember his name for the life of me. Someone I get on well with, actually, in the comment section, did say that if anyone thinks that we're going to bang over Tunisia, that in England, that is, I'm saying it as though I'm him. If anyone thinks we're going to bang over England, they are completely deluded. Because Tunisia are a good side, and they're showing that. And I did say it, England, to me, they ain't shit after 12, 20 minutes. They're almost like a Conor McGregor. All right, you're flashing shit for the first round or two. But then when it gets to the nitty gritty of the fight, what have you got? You've got no gas tank. It was you, Oliver. Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. See what I'm saying? Look at that pass to the left. Oh, you man are taking the piss, man. Imagine if he had a slip. You guys would be fucked right now. Bun him. Colin, let me ask you a question. As a proud Scot, who do you want to win this game? Who do you want winning this game? There's your question. So what do you reckon, guys? I should have asked you guys for predictions and stuff. So now you're seeing the game play out. What do you reckon in terms of predictions? What are you thinking? I actually think Wilshere would have been quite suited to this game, you know, because they're playing Ali as a number 8. Here's the thing about playing Ali as a number 8, right? Ali is like Spurs' Ramsey. You know, he dribbles more than Ramsey does. Ramsey's more of a runner than he is. But they're basically the same fucking thing. I don't necessarily think they're going to get a lot of. Oh, what a boot it, man! Oh, for fuck's sake! What kind of stupid ass pansy shot is that? Heck happened here? They do VAR. I ain't gonna lie, it looked like it was nowhere near going over the line. So yeah. Yeah, so Rich says 3-1 England. Archie says 2-1 England. I feel like it would be 2-1 England. I do. Even though I'm not surprised for a second that England are drawing this game. Like I say, they run out of puff after 20 minutes. The thing is, luckily for them, and this is where I think they will score, is they'll probably end up starting the second half quite well and then get the goal. But this is hardly a we're going to win the World Cup type of performance. But listen, Spain lost their first game last time out and they won the fucking thing. So who knows? People believe Germany could do something similar this year. They lost their first game. It's been a lot of surprising results. And then there's been typical bullshit ones like Nigeria. Well, it's another rant for another day. Yeah, we are squandering a lot of chances. Yeah. It's tricky. Got a free kick though. Let's see what happens. I will say this. After a shaky 20 minutes or so, or just as I was about to compliment their defense, this bullshit. But after a shaky 20 minutes or so, to be fair, Tunisia are defending well. England have only really had two decent chances after the goal. Listen, Ty would also say that Mustafi could develop into a world-class defender. It's Ty, you know? It's Ty. I'll never diss him because he's my countryman, but it's Ty. So it wouldn't surprise me that he said that, no. Do I think Nigeria have any chance of winning the World Cup? Not based on what I've seen. Mind you, though, if we ever did, oh my goodness. I'd be dancing around my living room. Fuck it, I'll be going outside dancing naked. Fuck it. And don't no one want to see that. What kind of bullshit shot is that? And this is why I don't rate Lingard. I don't give a damn what anyone tells me. I don't rate this kid. I don't rate the kid. I don't rate him. He's got some rhythm, dances decently. That's about it. The guy is an Instagram player at best. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, Ola's going for a Desmond. 2-2. Oliver, you like your controversial opinions. I don't think Germany's going out first round. I'm just going to be real with you, man. I think they'll get their shit together. And I think there's a reasonable chance Argentina could go out. That'd be kind of hilarious. I don't see that happening. I do like this Archie kid. You down Skippy, brother? You down right? They hit the post. They're getting closer, to be fair. And as much as I'm criticizing Lingard, it's Lingard that's causing problems. As predicted by me in the lineup, he's just playing in that number 10 advanced position. I say predicted because they didn't show that he was going to play as a number 10. in the graphic. All right, guys. Oh, England games, I tell you, man. You know what, Ola, I might get you on just, I might get you on just to talk about the Nigeria game. It's so boring. Oh my gosh, so boring. England games are so boring. Spray that back. No, to be fair, there have been chances, Oliver. I kind of agree with that. I think there have been chances. Your players are dead. Yeah, I hear you, brother Darren. I hear you, brother. So, how about you guys? What do you think of Arsenal's transfer business so far? I might as well talk about Arsenal because seems to be a bit of a lull in the game I'm watching at the moment. And it looks like we're approaching half time. Actually, you know what? Rather than Arsenal's business, what do you guys think of the first half so far? Do you think England can go on and win it? Do you think it's just a case of putting a bit of pressure on, bringing on someone like a Vardy, who might cause a little bit more problems and be a bit stronger? I wouldn't mind seeing Sterling in a number 10 and maybe Vardy up top. That'd be how I change it. I just don't rate Lingard. I'll hold my hands up. I just don't rate him. That's how I would tweak it. Darryl, I mean in transfer business that we've done or about to do or have done but can't confirm it because of stock exchange reasons. I agree with you, Oliver. I would have started Kane and Vardy up top. Kane is a runner, Vardy's a runner, and Kane likes to kind of stick just outside, just inside the 18-yard area. So I'm not really sure why he didn't start them both. Both are good finishers. Have Sterling just behind that. That would have been the way I would have done it, but it's fucking Southgate. Well, it's half time now, so you guys let me know what you think. All that, I quite like that idea, Dara, actually. Yeah, I would have done that as well. Either have Sterling and Rashford on the wings, Ali in the midfield, Henderson brings nothing. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Not that Dyer brings much more, to be fair. Though. Yeah, I must admit, as much as I wouldn't mind Nelson, if Nelson's going to be free, not a problem. But I think that'd be a such much more level of buzz and excitement if you brought in a Martial or a Dembele. Two deals that are probably impossible to do. Um, but just because there's that but there, I would love us to try and do it. For me, especially now that Martial has come out and said, you know what, I'm unhappy, I want to leave, then we should be reacting to it. This is the thing that I find frustrating about Arsenal. Arsenal are very easily put off purchases. So, for example, if as soon as Alexis Sanchez said he was unhappy, or as soon as there might have been a problem with Hector Bellerin, United were on our case immediately. With Arsenal, if you want to put them off, all you have to say is, under no circumstances will we sell this player because he's invaluable to us. That will scare Arsenal off for the rest of their life. The second part of what will scare Arsenal away is, saying that, we would let him go at the right price, because then that club lets them know that, oh, okay, well, he's going to be expensive, and that will then also scare Arsenal off for the rest of their life. Whereas what a real club would do is test that water, test their resolve, and make a bid for a player as good and as big as Martial is. And that's what I want to see us do. And I know some of you might be sat there thinking Martial is good enough anyway. I know, for example, friend of the show, Stel, who's a United fan, doesn't even really give a shit if Martial leaves. And I can understand why, because, to be fair, if I'm Stel and you're seeing some stroppy shit, they've got so many prima donnas at United as it is. From Stel's point of view, he's probably just thinking, get rid of this fucking punk ass anyway. Fuck him. His talent ain't worth that much. Here's the thing. I would go with that theory if you didn't have the manager you had. And that's always my argument with Stel. You still have a lot of loyal United fans to Jose. But I tell you what, they're starting to become few and far between, because he's alienating so many fucking players. You're like, brothers, and for what ultimately? They didn't win shit last season. And all right, the season before that they won trophies. Their football is, oh my God, you think England is bad? So you just think to yourself, from a player's point of view, Martial might be thinking, all right, if I went to Arsenal, it's very clear and obviously a step back. And it is. It is. It would be arrogant as an Arsenal fan to say any different. If Martial was to make a move from United to Arsenal, it would be a step back for him. It would. However, you don't market it as that. What you market it as, look, this is a new project, a new manager, an opportunity to play an exciting, young, hungry team. I say young, maybe not so much when you put just Tyler in there, but an exciting team who's trying to move forward and plays the sort of football that you're going to like. That's the way you do it with Martial. And that's the way you play it with Martial. Personally, I think Martial will come. There's been a lot of stories about the fact that, he was upset that he wasn't allowed to come to Arsenal in the first place. You guys know, me personally, if I had a choice between Mkhitaryan and Martial to be in that Sanchez deal, it would have been Martial every time. It wouldn't have even been close. And I don't particularly hate Mkhitaryan. I don't think he's a right winger. I think there's an opportunity with Mkhitaryan, if you can get him fit, potentially to play a backup number 8 role, like in that kind of Santi type of position. But I wouldn't trust him to play that role without an actual DM next to him. So, yeah. And I do find it interesting that, there's been a lot of stories come out lately and interviews with Emre that he likes playing a 4-1-4-1. So let's say Torreira is that one. Then Xhaka presumably is in the middle with Ramsey. And then what? Your left winger is who? A Dembele or Martial? Here's the other thing. I don't see and I don't think that Martial, and I can see Bob in the chat room already. I'll come to Bob in a minute. But I don't see Martial and Lacazette being in the same team. And when I say team, I mean the squad. I think if we get Martial, the likelihood is that Lacazette will probably say, fuck this, and bounce. So, yeah. Yeah, for now they're a better team, but they are fun. We're talking about buying Martial now, though, aren't we, Bullet? So that's why I'm saying it would be a backward step for Martial now. There's just no getting away from it. We're not in the Champions League. It is fucking Man United. You know, regardless of whether they're a bit of a fallen star at the moment, so are we, motherfuckers. We've fallen lower. So, I don't know. And that's for Bob. Listen, I don't think we're going to get Martial either. I think you guys are spiteful enough to just say, fuck you, we're selling you to Martial. We're selling Martial to you motherfuckers. But there's always hope. With this little setup that we have, it's not like it was with Wenger. So there is that more optimism. Unfortunately, we still have a tight-ass fucking owner, and that's our main issue. And it's my belief that's always been our main issue. Because if there's one thing, no matter if you're happy with the business we've done or not, one thing is very clear. We worked to a ridiculous transfer budget. And I think that's the main reason why these deals are taking so long to conclude. Because we're trying to nickel and dime every little chance we get. It would be hilarious. For the banter alone, it'd be hilarious if we got him. Absolutely hilarious. I've seen a few people have flooded on, probably stemming from the Arsenal Fan TV stream. Thank you for joining. The reason I'm not talking about the England game, quite frankly, is there wasn't a lot of points to talk about. So just kind of got a little bit distracted by Arsenal transfer news, which is what I'm talking about very briefly at the moment. But we'll get back onto the England game as soon as the second half resumes. I agree with you, man. One or the other. They play very similar. I think we need a midfielder. Gelson, he looks like an exciting player. Very tricky. I'd like to see his end product improve. But he is 22, so I believe it can improve. And I think if he is a free transfer, it is a no-brainer, like Oliver just said. I was just about to say the same thing. So it's a no-brainer. And here's the thing. If it is a free transfer, then cool. Why can't you do that and then buy Mahrez as well? Because in my view, you need, in my view, particularly to play with someone like Bamiyan, you need two fast, capable, tricky wingers that could just stretch defenders and give Aubameyang that space. And I think if you did that with Mahrez and you did that with Gelson, one side and the other, fucking hell. It's a type of pace and speed that will worry a motherfucker. And then you have Mkhitaryan competing with a Xhaka, as crazy as that sounds, but against some of the teams where we're going to have more possession. Turn Mkhitaryan into that Santi role. He can do it. I strongly believe he can do it. That's just my belief anyway. Yeah, I do. I still do love Mahrez, so I would love Mahrez. It looks like Lamar's got away from us. It looks like Malcolm has got away from us. I would love Bailey, but ain't no way we're spending 80 million on a player. So if we're not going to get any of them players, Mahrez, go and get him. Well, get one of these fuckers anyway. And to be fair, that's kind of why, as much as I want Martial, and I would love Martial part of our team, in my view, two specialized winners is actually the way to go. Two winners who can actually do the job, actually do the job and give us options. Like, for example, if we're playing a team where we're not expected to defend a lot against, you could take out our defensive midfielder and play Lacazette and go with two up front and play a 4-4-2. To me, it's not difficult stuff. The problem you have is that in a lot of these cases, you have to fit in a Mesut Ozil. And that's personally why I sell him, because I think he causes more problems trying to fit him in and accommodate him as opposed to him accommodating us. Johnny, was anything ever coming home? Come on now. I was going to say, yeah, England always bottle it. I ain't going to lie. Not that Nigeria much better, mate, to be fair. Gosh, I'm going to be replaying this every second of the whole program now. Oh, should England have had a penalty? Fuck off. What you should be doing is beating these motherfuckers. England's already lost one fan. Johnny's dialed out. He's tapped out already. I like this Johnny Cat. I like this Johnny Cat. Oh, shit. But Paul, that's the point I'm making. Isn't that the whole point? We want a team that's going to compete. So I think if you bring in the two wingers and you say to Mesut Ozil, Ramsey, and even Mkhitaryan, all right, your places are Ramsey less so. I think Ramsey, if we could get him signed to a contract, you build a team around him. But with Mesut Ozil and Mkhitaryan, in my opinion, why should their places be guaranteed? This is the whole annoyance I have with the whole Mesut Ozil complex. No matter how shit he plays, he has these protected bandits around him. Fans, certain pundits that will go for him or protect him. Everyone seems to have this opinion on Mesut Ozil. And what I'm saying is Mesut Ozil is another Arsenal player, which means he should be able to fight for his place like any Arsenal player. I hear you, Johnny. I'm watching them now myself. Oh, just as we were getting on, Johnny, man. Now you started bringing up the Mesut Ozil stuff. Gosh, Magic, be careful. I'm going to trigger people off. Be careful. I'm not slandering him, but I'm just being real. To me, if I'm being real and taking I don't hate Mesut Ozil. I think he has world-class ability. And I've always said that. He has world-class ability. But to me, he doesn't show up enough to be considered a world-class player. And if you have world-class ability, but you only show up part of the time, It's like saying to someone, you're a good employee 30% of the time. Does that make you a good employee? And that's my whole issue with the Mesut Ozil debate. Other than also the fact that you can't seem to say anything wrong without having 80 people jump on the throat. I'm just being honest. I don't hate the player. I admire his talent so much. My frustration with Mesut Ozil is this protective unit around him of fans that if you criticize past a certain point, or if you talk longer than 30 seconds about Mesut Ozil, then you're the worst person on earth. You don't know anything about football. And that's my issue. I'm prepared to. Johnny, listen, I'm under no illusion. Just because I'd sell Mesut Ozil doesn't mean that I expect the manager to actually sell Mesut Ozil. And if he improves, and we saw what Mesut Ozil can do when he's motivated. The first half of last season, he was fucking fantastic. The kind of thing that gives you hard-ons. My issue is, are we going to see that enough and again and continuously? And that's my only question. And I don't think you should be demonized because you are critiquing any game that has Mesut Ozil, Granit Xhaka, Danny Welbeck. Doesn't mean you're not supporting your Arsenal player. You want them to do well. But if they're playing shit in front of your very eyes, you should be able to say. That's not supporting them. It's like Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi is an excellent example of what I'm talking about. The amount of fucking abuse I've had over 2 or 3 months from various people that say, oh, well, it's because Alex Iwobi is Nigerian and that's why you don't say too much about him. When I went in on him on the weekend, I didn't see Alex Iwobi, the Arsenal player. I saw Alex Iwobi, the Nigerian player that played fucking shit. So I said he played shit. And that's the thing for whatever you want to say about me, I'm consistent. I won't flip-flop. I'm very consistent. I will always say what I see. And if I see talent in a player, I'll say I see talent in a player. But if I also see that same player playing shit, I will tell you that player is playing shit. Thing with Ozil is he never sees ball. Iwobi's an awful player, man. Paul, I know you've always said the same thing about. You've always said the same thing about Iwobi. Don't think I ain't seen your comments. I know you think it's shit. I know you do. And there's no doubt on Friday for Nigeria, he was fucking shit. My gosh, I went into one. Man, when I reviewed that game. I see talent in there, but even I have to admit at this point, it's a fading talent. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe all it ever was DNA, was JJ Kocher DNA, but not JJ Kocher talent. That's for damn sure. Oh, Bunning. Sterling on the attack. Fucking hell, these England players are shit when they want to be. At least they forced a corner or throw-in. Brother, Ola, I completely agree with you, brother Ola. He should have been, honestly, either that or he stole JJ Kocher's DNA because there is no JJ Kocher talent. There is no JJ Kocher talent. But then again, at least sometimes I see something, but even now I'm questioning myself. I said to everybody from the very get-go that I would give Iwobi the whole World Cup before he goes on the shopping block. I'll tell you what, at the moment, it don't look good for you, Iwobi. You've got 2 more chances now. So let's see. No, you probably literally heard it, Paul. You probably literally heard my rant. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Johnny, and it's very, very clear. It's very, very clear that you're a Mesut Ozil fan, right? And listen, I'm a fan of Mesut Ozil when he's playing well. It's an Arsenal player. Of course, I want to see him do well. What I don't get is the same people telling me, oh, I should back Mesut Ozil whether he plays well or not, are the same people who have for years been criticizing Arsene Wenger. It is the same principle. And the funny thing is, I never hated Arsene Wenger either. But I hated our performances. I hated the way he used to play the same tactics. I hated the way he used to ignore the problems that were clearly in our personnel department. I hated the fact that he used to play the same substandard players, whether it was your Nicholas Bentner, whether it was your Jermaine Alia Aldahir, whether it was your Pascal Seagons, whether it was your Stefanovs, you know, annoying players that used to persist with, whether it was your Mustafis. That was, to me, my problem with Arsene Wenger. But I never hated the man. Hell, there was a photo that came out yesterday where he looked good, he looked well. And I'm glad that he looks well. Clearly, the job was taking a lot out of him. The criticism was taking a lot out of him. You know? To me, and a lot of you will disagree with this, I'll probably get a dislike just of this comment alone. The man was once upon a time a world-class manager. You don't become a shit manager overnight. And all right, in Wenger's case, it certainly wasn't overnight. And what I'm trying to say is I'm by no means saying that Mesut Ozil is a shit player. Let me reiterate. I do believe that Mesut Ozil has world-class talents. But when he plays shit, people should be able to say he plays shit. Just like if I go to my favorite restaurant today and they cook me a horrible meal, I should be able to say that's a horrible meal without saying that the restaurant is now shit. Do you know what I mean? This is not hard concepts. And that's the thing. I don't know the details of arguments that people had on Twitter. And quite frankly, I ain't going to go into it. You know, I know a lot of people's grief is about with Arsenal Fan TV in general. And for me, that ain't my battle. I don't go on Arsenal Fan TV, so that ain't my battle. If you have beef with them, you have beef with them. But the concept that somebody could criticize, and this is where I did stick up for Troops a little bit, because so it was like, well, hold on. I watched that video. He didn't really say anything that bad. He didn't say anything that I went thinking anyway. You know, Ozil didn't play well. You're absolutely right, Johnny, before, because I'm not even looking at the chat room at that moment, and I can imagine you're saying, yeah, but the whole Germany team played badly. Abso-fucking-lutely. But here's the problem. We watch Mesut Ozil week in, week out, know what he's capable of, and know what he isn't. And he should have been one of those people who you would expect more from. And I think that's a reasonable critique. I ended up drinking rum, Ola. A lot of dark rum. Captains and Mount Gay, to be specific. I'm not quite there, Archie, with regards to Iwobi. Give it 2 more games, and it could be chop on. It could be chop on. Paul, I'm not yet sure. I'm not yet sure. We'll see. We'll see. Is this my job? No, it isn't. This is my hobby, Bob. I don't nearly have enough subscribers for this to be my job. But the best way of changing that is by hitting that subscribe button and crushing the like button. Ola, come on now. Come on now. You know this as a fellow Nigerian. When do we ever drink pieces of shit? If we drink, we're drinking some high quality shit. Like, never in your life, Ola, have you ever seen a Nigerian drink cider? Never. Actually, I kind of agree with that. I think it depends. Sometimes you get people like, and here's where probably I shouldn't criticize Lee too much, but here's where I think with Lee, sometimes his grief comes about because when he criticizes Mesut Ozil, to be honest, what he's actually doing is winding up fans. And he does that because, and I can understand why, it's not my style of doing it, but I can understand why he does that. And that's because, you know, he's just sick of, as he calls them, you know, fanboys of Mesut Ozil. But I think in doing that, sometimes people now don't take everything Lee has to say about Mesut Ozil seriously because he trolls a lot of fans so much. Whereas with me, for me, I very much operate off the, I'll just call it how I see it. You know, I don't care if it's my favorite player out there. I don't care if it's Kanu out there. You know, if you're playing shit, I'll tell you you're playing shit. If you're playing well, I'll tell you you're playing well. Everyone thinks I hate Mustafi, right? I just think he's shit. I don't hate him. I just think he's shit. But I'll tell you what, that one game he played absolutely exceptionally well was that game at Spurs this past close season. Go watch that review and see who I gave man of the match to. I will never let bias cloud my judgment. I gave him man of the match because that was by far and away the best game I've ever seen Mustafi play. And he deserved that man of the match. Very interesting, actually, Ola. Very interesting. I wanted to talk to Lee about that tonight. I did see it. It was interesting. Part of me thinks that it is just him being a bit salty because it was those 2 players in particular. And I actually thought Xhaka did fairly well. And that's another player that people seem to think I have an issue with. With Xhaka, I have a lot of frustrations with. Where I don't put Xhaka in the same bracket, and spoiler alert, Xhaka won't be on my chopping block this summer. Apart from the fact that he's just signed a new contract, even prior to that, he won't be on my chopping block because he is one of those players that I believe potentially could actually improve from Emre. Mustafi, no, it's not there. The man is shit, always will be shit. Just sell him. With Xhaka, we've not seen anything near what I'm sure he's probably capable of. But I'm prepared to give him 1 more year. And let's see what we got with this kid. And if he doesn't improve next year, get the fuck rid of him. So yeah, part of me does think is of him being salty, generally. Just because, well, let's be real. Everyone knows the reason why. But Xhaka is his buy. So that much I will say. That's his buy. That was his call and his wisdom opting for him instead of Kante. I think one thing is very clear to me, though, is that Arsenal clearly don't like your Gilberto Silva type player. They like a player to be a little bit more. If you think about it, from your Arteta to your Xhakas to your now your Torellis or Torella, I need to really know how to pronounce his fucking name. It shows to me that they don't like DMs in your traditional sense. So for me, I don't think there's any. We're not going to go for Nzonzi. My prediction is we don't buy Steven Nzonzi. I suspect that we bought Torelli or Torella as that DM, as someone who's a ball-playing DM, if you like, as opposed to someone who all they do is tackle and then hand it over to a player who can do something with it. That's why I think we opted to keep El Nene over Coquelin. Coquelin was real combative, but he didn't have anything else to his game. El Nene has other stuff to his game, but he's not combative. I'll tell you what, between those two players is a hell of a DM. Just unfortunately, they have two different qualities, and none of them is quite right. In fact, El Nene's role will be the most interesting to me because I think for Ainsley Maitland-Niles to sign a contract, now Xhaka to sign a new contract, he wants to build a team around Ramsey. Someone's going to have to miss out. Xhaka's been more or less told he can go, which I agree with. So it will be interesting. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Archie. I think he'll be the one to get on the ball. I think the reason he's opted not to go for a classic DM is because of the way his style is in terms of pressing. That he believes that there won't be any need necessarily for a classic DM, which I can see the logic about. Particularly if you can get more out of Xhaka defensively, in terms of discipline and in terms of knowing how to fucking tackle. Just slide that ball, slide that ball. Nice. Drive him. Drive him. Where is that going? Sir Antonius Black. So this is why I like this brother that I'm about to talk about, right? Antonius Black, that's now in the chat room. If there is one guy who his number one answer is, don't worry, Emre's got this fixed. Emre's going to fix this. Emre's going to fix everything. This is Antonius Black. He has all of a sudden turned into the ultimate optimist. Oliver, what did you expect, man? It's England. I said it to you before, man, that to me, they have nothing past 20 minutes. That's what we saw against Nigeria. And that's why I'm disappointed Nigeria wasn't able to get back into that game, because the opportunities were there. We didn't take advantage of it. I'll tell you what, if all of those people that are doing that will be Arsenal fans, or they'll just be fans trying to trigger Arsenal fans. Because for me, Emre's target is simple. I know a lot of people have said fifth would be good enough. Not necessarily for me, but it won't be Emre out if he doesn't achieve it. If he can get top four, I'll be satisfied with that. He doesn't even need to win anything. Let's get top four. To me, he needs to have almost a Klopp-like rebuild, just with winning trophies, rather than Klopp's style of not winning trophies. One liner Ola strikes again. Yes, they have been super pigeons. Super budgies. Torreira, Xhaka, Ramsey would be a good midfield. I trust Emre to get it right. Hence why I've been ultra positive this summer. Yep. I think generally it will be a good balance because I think Ramsey and Xhaka is a good balance, but they've needed an anchor for so long. So if it's Torelli or Torria, I promise I'll learn how to say his name. Torria, I think his name is. If he plays the anchor of those two, then it should really be a really nicely balanced midfield. Ironically, I think this Torria guy is what they hoped Xhaka would be. So what I'm hoping is that he picks up the pace of the league fairly quickly. We're going to need him to. It's going to be a big shock to him. It just will be. Coming from the fucking Italian league, where, let's be real here, in comparison, is much slower. It'll be very interesting. Unlike this freaking game. That's why I'm having to talk so much. Archie, honestly, and that's one of my biggest fears, I think there's a high possibility of this. I think he'll stay this summer to see what happens. But if he's not happy, I think there's a reasonable chance he could. And it'll be a shame. It's just that we've got two of the most lethal strikers in Europe. But I can't see them both playing because no one plays two strikers anymore. Or no one top level plays with two strikers anymore. Usually have that false number 9 and then you have an actual bona fide striker. Yeah, do you know what I mean, Gospel? Rashford has come on now. They need Vardy on as well, to be fair. Let's see what this free kick is about. Pun intended. It always trips me out whenever I see Trippier taking free kicks. Like, really? Is that the most dangerous set piece maybe you have? You go from David fucking Beckham to Kieran Trippier. Yeah, Antonio. So it just that has to be the target. It has to be the target. It has to be the target. Top 4, I'll be happy with. If you can win a cup on top of that, I think that's a really good season, considering where we're coming from. You know, this has to be a 3-year project where, to be perfectly honest, I don't know if Emre, I mean, we don't know anything about Emre until the season starts. Whether you can win us a Premier League title, we don't know. But I think in order to take us onto a top 4 team again, which let's be real here, we're not. We're not a top 4 team. You know? Oh, what the fuck happened? Yeah, I think to take us to a top 4 team again, he's going to need to kind of rebuild and get our mindset right. And let's be real, we're going to have to establish ourselves. Sorry, my boss texted me. Yeah, we're going to have to reestablish ourselves all over again. So, So yeah, it depends. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Take care, Magic. Well, you ain't a flip flopper, Antonius. I mean, it's understandable. We've got a new manager. There's optimism in the air. There has to be optimism in the air. So it's completely understandable. It's just, I don't know. With Emre, I'm just not convinced that Wenger was the sole reason of all of our problems. And I think that's the dispute I often have. I do feel like our strategy when it comes to transfer business is questionable. I do think it costs us a lot. And I hope it doesn't cost us any more than it has to be honest. They're so desperate to create this Leicester-like success. Leicester should be copying our success. And that's the problem I have with Ivan is that, especially that comment that he said as, oh, well, you know, Leicester showed they could do it. So what? We're trying to be like Leicester now. Shouldn't Leicester trying to be like us? And that's to me why I don't trust that reason. I don't. Gospel's on fire today. That rare brand of malaria strain that makes you shit. My gosh, this game's turned real dead. Should have known. I should have known. Should have known. Why couldn't I do a watch along for that Spain versus Portugal game? That game was amazing. Yeah, Archie, to be fair, transfer windows are always slow during years where, during summers where the World Cup's on, the Euros are on, or the Copa America is on. So it's not entirely a surprise. Um, it's frustrating as an Arsenal fan because you want to see some activity happening. What I'm a little bit surprised at is that not more outgoings have happened now. I think from the 1st of January, July, we're going to start seeing activity. For the first and foremost, we're going to know if Jack is staying or going once and for all. We're not that far away from the 1st of July. Obviously, Socrates will be confirmed by that point. I think it's the worst kept secret in the world that that's been a done deal, but that we're waiting for Germany's tax break or some sort of shit that's supposed to be taking place on the 1st that will allow Dortmund to be able to announce it on the 1st of July. But it's a done deal. He's done all his medicals, pictures, interviews. He's done all that shit. He's probably on holiday right now. So yeah. So I think what you'll see is, you know, people from the World Cup, and apart from anything, scouts are at this World Cup. You're kidding yourself if you don't believe Sven and his team are somewhere around this World Cup watching players. You know, first of all, they're there to tie up with Torelli. I don't know what his fucking name is. First of all, they're there to tie up his deal. But secondly, they're there to watch other players. So they're probably not here to watch this freaking game, though. Fuck me. You know, let's bang in a second goal so we can be done and wrap up. This is dire. I don't mean the player. The problem with Wenger is although, uh-oh. Oh, for fuck's sake. Can you guys see me? Can you guys see me? Talk to me. Apparently my playback ain't working, so I don't know if you guys can still see my picture. Can you still see it? Or you can? Okay. Sometimes I watch myself on a playback just to see if you guys, and it's gone blank, so I still assume that you can see me. And OG Stuff Whites, what a name. I'm well aware they're better than Nigeria, motherfucker, all right? I'm well aware, motherfucker. All right, let's see what happens. Ashley Young, free kick, dangerous area. Come on, Young, come on. Prove yourself to be a decent player. Prove it. Ref trying to sort out this wall. Arguments and all sorts of shit happening. This could take a minute. Oh, goodness. One bit of excitement and we're having to wait for it. It's typical, right? Ah, Ashley motherfucking Young. Was anything that shows me what you're about was that stupid ass free kick. They even look close, to threatening the goal. It don't even look close. I don't care how many replays they take of it. It weren't a threatening free kick. Ashley motherfucking Young, people. All right, so England at Panama next up. What are you guys thinking ahead of that game? Are you confident? What's going on? Give me that back. Boom, 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 boom. You're still average. Yeah, sounds about right. Panama will win. Olo in troll mode. We'll beat them. So what? Well, ultimately, if let's say it stays 1-1, right? If England could get a draw out of Belgium, and I know you guys might laugh at that idea, but it's fucking Roberto Martinez. He ain't that much better than Southgate. Let me tell you something. So if England can get something out of them, that'll be enough to go through. Easy. Who knows? 4 points might be enough to go through because you guys will beat Panama. You just will. You'll beat Panama. No, Archie, Iceland is next. We got Argentina last. Yeah, DF though. I don't think Belgium are that good. I think England can get a draw out of them. I do. I really believe that. I'm not even just trolling. I believe that. Gospel. See, so good. I'm glad you said that. So on my live screen, it seems to be acting fine, but when I'm watching on the playback, it's it says video playback interrupted. Please try again. Everyone else in the chat room has said they can see me fine. Can you not see me fine? I just think YouTube are fucking up. Plus, there's probably a lot of people watching these type of watch-alongs as well. So, England on the attack. Looks like Rashford driving. Rashford. You chat room, guys. So is anyone actually watching the game? Just out of curiosity. Like, is anyone actually watching the game? Or is it just me and I'm watching it for you, commentating? We're not really commentating on the game like I should be. There's just so many non-points happening. I mean, a free kick or a cross came in, and the goalkeeper just punched out that Stones was attacking, and they've replayed that about 3 times for some weird reason. I don't know. So that's literally the way, oh, okay, because the goalkeeper's down. The goalkeeper's clearly milking it to run out of time, which the last time I checked, it is 83 minutes. I think I'm looking at that right. So yeah, not exactly the best of starts, but what I will say, I know Southgate will face criticism. And part of me says rightly so for drawing to Tunisia. But, you know, to be fair, Germany lost their game. Argentina drew their first game. Maybe England are just slow starters in this shit. So you never know. I still believe England will go through. I know Lee was very pessimistic last time he was on here, and he believes that England will finish third behind Tunisia, ironically enough. But I think that England will go through second, get a draw out of Belgium, who will probably win against Tunisia and Panama. I think that'll be enough. Well, speaking of which, does anyone actually know what the Belgium versus Panama game is? What's the score in that game? Oh, it's 3-0. Do you know the scorers? Has it finished? Is that full time? I know these games don't tend to run at the same time. 2 Lukaku goals. It's amazing what happens when you get players away from Jose, huh? Start banging in goals left, right, centre. Yeah, it is full time. Yeah, I thought it was on earlier, but I couldn't be 100% sure, so I didn't want to make a rash claim without knowing for sure. Yeah, Martin's another player that we've been linked to in the past. What do you guys reckon, Golovin? Would you like to see him at Arsenal? Big cross coming in. Let's try and commentate on the game a little bit more. All right. Pass centrally to Young. Out left to Rashford. Don't know who the fuck that is. Okay. Is that Walker driving it? Oh, this game is so dead. I'm trying. Golovin, yes. Oliver. Belgium first, England second by the King. Yep, I agree, King. England versus Colombia last 16. And England go out to Colombia, which I can easily see. They're old rivals. Oh, here we go. Oh. Golovin, yes. Golovin in, yes. Martins, no. I mean, upgrade on LNA. England moves the ball too slowly. Yeah, Oliver will beat us. Yep, I agree, guys. I agree. I agree. Oh, man, my neck. My neck, my back, my neck. All right. Our playback's working now. Good. Okay. Ball turn, beautiful. To the byline. Drive that shit. What kind of running is that? Who is that? Lost his cheek. Well, you're meant to be more technical than that. I don't know what's going on. Flipping heck, that's the third opportunity to respond with my Boston Neo Scotland. Gospel. Do you know what I mean? I don't watch Love Island, so I'm trusting you in that one. I don't watch them things like. The only thing I've ever watched that's similar to Love Island was, I say similar, was Geordie, not even Geordie Shore, Jersey Shore. I watched that a few times once, and that was my guilty pleasure that I got way too embarrassed in the end to continue watching. Because it's just, there is like just brain damaging TV, and I feel like that's one of it. Like just people are too dumb. That's corner, right? Good. 4 minutes left, people. 4 minutes of this pain. Come on. We've got this. We can get through this shit together. Let's get through this shit together. Here we go. Oh, hallelujah. They scored. Kane again. 2-1. As predicted. As predicted. I did say that England will get another one. Oh, hallelujah. I don't want to start seeing some news headlines about, oh, Why can't England do this? Why can't England do that? I ain't gonna lie, the goalkeeper should have done better, to be fair. I don't like the goalkeeper should have done better. Command the area better. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. I don't know. I think I heard him. I heard about 3 people screaming. Yes, gospel. It could be worse. You could have Arsenal players on the pitch, though. Remember, there's no Danny Welbeck on the pitch. I personally think they should have taken off Lingard a long time. They're taking him off now. I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, though, Oliver. I mean, sometimes you have players, African players generally learn to play the ball with the ball on the ground. Gosh, one of my dad's big. If you see commentary when Nigeria are playing, and my dad is, his first criticism is keep keep the ball on the ground. Why are we not keeping the ball on the ground? Pass the ball. Keep the ball on the ground. It's like he'll say the same shit over, over, over again. So when the team tends to be good with the ball on the ground, then you have to go to set pieces. But I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. You're happy, Lion. You're happy. This is Kane versus Tunisia, Ola. I agree. DF, I agree. Welbeck is not good enough. He is a striker first and foremost, a left winger when we need him to be. Um, and even as a left winger, he doesn't get enough goals. Never mind as a striker. So, no, Dyer, no. Well, Dyer's come on to shore shit up, which basically means he's come on to kill the game. Mind you, they're on 94 now, and they only have 4 minutes added on. So this will be the last kick anyway. Oh, not even. There you go. It's a wrap. England win. Well, they won. Was it the most fluent performance you'll ever see? No. Was it the most entertaining game you'll ever watch? No. Was I particularly entertaining on commentary? There wasn't a lot to commentate on. But it is what it is. That's why you have Captain Kane. You know, he's a lethal striker. No matter whether you think he does it in a pretty way, whether he plays for the Spud or not, is what I'm trying to say. When it comes to World Cups, it's not about who the fuck or what colours you play or who you do support or don't support or supporting one of your own or none of that shit. Just judge the game on the game. And the fact is that Kane was the only one in England that seemingly turned the fuck up today. This is what it is. I thought Lingard caused a couple of problems here and there, but no end product. I think Sterling had a good 10, 15 minutes, but that was about it. Aside from that, I thought it was basic. Thought it phoned in. It was a very phoned in performance. It was boring. I don't necessarily like the shape 3-5-2 for England. I don't like that. I mean, I think it lends to their being very boring and functional is the word I'm looking for. I don't think there's a lot of expression in that team. There's not a lot of players expressing themselves in England team, which is why a lot of their players are. That's why a lot of their games, in my opinion, are very boring to watch. Not that Nigeria is any better. Before you say it, I'm well aware of that. But let's call a spade here. England have a lot better players than Nigeria, and you can see how gutted Tunisia are because they're crying on the pictures right now. Which that shouldn't even be happening right now. What should be happening is England should have smoked them motherfuckers and let Tunisia players know that they weren't even in their league in the first place. But the fact that Tunisia players are crying tells me that Tunisia had real ambitions of taking something out of England today. And the fact that they didn't take something out of England leaves them gutted because they now know that their job becomes an uphill battle. They have to now take something out of Belgium, probably a win, which we know is not going to happen. So, yeah. Would I take Sterling for Nigeria? Of course. I think Sterling is a good player used in the right way. I think Pep has shown that. So I disagree with a little bit with Mad. And I think Sterling, I think he was awful today. I think he was good. But here's the thing, Sterling was awful today, but he was the only other person that did something, albeit in the first 4 minutes. I agree with you, Ola. Well said. Whether you like Kane or not, Kane is a world-class. I hesitate to call him world-class. He is an excellent striker, Harry Kane. Excellent. He just is. I'd be hating to say otherwise. Oliver, I agree to a certain extent. Are England good enough to win a World Cup? No. Not with this manager. But there is talent there. There's talent there because we've seen it. If you're a Premier League fan, you've seen it. There's talent there, but Southgate is not the tactician to extract that talent out. Yes, I would. Man, let me tell you something. For me, I'd have Arsene Wenger, and I've been a critic of Arsene Wenger for 4 years. I don't think we could afford him as a federation, but I would have Arsene Wenger because, and let me tell you something. If you could get someone of a high stature in football, mentally with those players, you'll get 20% more out of them. I 100% agree. To be perfectly honest, if JJ Okocha had done his coaching matches, I'd have him as that manager. That'd be my ideal choice, provided he did the coaching matches. I wouldn't just want to appoint him for the sake of appointing him. Because he'll command respect. He'll have that Zinedine Zidane type of respect. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he'll have the same results before someone says. But he'll have the same sort of command of the players. Yeah, I agree with you, Shori TV. I agree. It'll be interesting to see how Brazil, Germany respond. I know about that market, Ola, only because my mum told me. Only because my mum has taught me. You say that, Shuri TV. That doesn't tell me that African football is way behind the rest. That performance against England doesn't say they're way behind. So that to me doesn't even make sense. They do, Antonius. They do. I'd take anyone. They've got no chance of getting Zidane. Let's be real here. But if we were to get Wenger, De Boer, I don't want Allardyce. There was one point we were being linked with Sam fucking Allardyce. God forbid. But anyone of a talent that could command that team, I'd be happy with. Truth be told, I would have taken Frank Lampard. You know, I would have done, because these are players with reputation, and sometimes the way you motivate these players is, God forbid, again, man. Alan Pardew, no, but the way you motivate these players is by having someone of a prestigious standing within football. I agree, Ola. The Nigerian government keep taking money out of the federation. In fact, is it any wonder that the federation is still going, to be honest? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Shaw TV, but there was Tunisia were 4 minutes away from getting a point against supposedly one of the media's favourites to win the World Cup. You know? African teams haven't got off to a good start. There's no getting away from it. But, you know, it wasn't that long ago when Ghana got to a semi-final of the World Cup. So let's give it a minute. Let's see what we can do and how we all react in our second games. I say we, Africa. Anyway, guys, let me go towards wrapping this up. So for me, with England, they won 2-1 as I felt they would. Kane with 2 goals. It was what it was. It is what it is. You know, was it a good performance from England? No. But did it serve their purpose in terms of getting 3 points and moving on to the next game? Brilliant. Now they can move on to Panama, beat them, knowing that that guarantees that they're through at least to the last 16. And then they can move on, and that's the main aim of that. So let's see. Obviously, from a Nigeria perspective, I'm more worried about the Iceland game, and I'm going to do a preview on that tomorrow. You guys, let me know what you think about the game, what England have achieved in winning today. I mean, at the very least, what you have to say is at least England showed fighting spirit towards the end of that game. I do question where that was for the rest of the game, but at least they showed it for the end of that game. You guys let me know what you think. I'm going to leave you guys to it for now because my voice is done. It's spent. Ola, me and you will talk later in the week. I'll WhatsApp you with regards to doing a watch along for the Nigeria game. Hopefully we won't have so much competition for doing watch alongs during that game. But other than that, I'm out of here, people. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and I'll speak to you guys real soon. Take care.